Since our last video on Bitcoin, we did see BTC push up to that expected $69,000, where we saw an immediate rejection and a bit of a push to the downside. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the technical analysis on Bitcoin, where I'll be sharing my thoughts and opinions as to where I think that price action is heading next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. So here we have BTC paired up with USDT. We are on our 1 hour Binance chart here, and you can see that we have seen some pretty interesting progression. I'm just going to go ahead and move this over to the daily chart. We don't need to see it on the 1 hour chart there. Okay, so we can see that we did push up into that $69,000. This happened on Friday at 1800 hours, where we got a high of exactly $69,000 to the penny. From there, we started to see a rejection and a bit of a move to the downside. So from basically Friday at 1800 down to the low that we saw Saturday at 1700. This actual move is quite interesting. So we'll go ahead and just do our due diligence on it here and check where we actually landed. You can see we fell short of where we would normally typically expect the price action to go. We would have been looking for, if I use the correct tool for the job, between the lows of 67,721 and 67,907 approximately, right? So right in that little sweet spot there. Okay, that would have been the move that we would have had. Minimum expectations on that move would have been here at the 68,205, and we obviously met that minimum expectation, coming down to a low of 68,010 on the 1700 hours UTC candle yesterday. Now we see a little bit of a progression, quite an interesting one, where this move to the downside may or may not yet be completed. It's a little hard to say, but to me it looks like we actually might have another push upwards into a pocket of resistance. And for us to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of these older targets that we had, but I'll leave that one on the chart there. If we can see, there's this interesting pocket of resistance here. No closed positions, okay, since we lost this area, which would be us losing it on 2000 hours on Friday. Okay, so no closed positions in this gap at the moment. This is 68,459 to 68,693, and I think we are going to be moving back towards it into the higher ranges and probably maybe even closing in there. I see a potential move between 1 and 1.236 coming in this little sweet spot right in here, 68,540 to the 68,550. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove that, and you can see that little yellow box there. This to me looks likely to be a three-wave pattern to the upside to complete that structure, but it could still actually put us into a bearish position where, because we haven't come down into this targeted range as expected, we kind of truncated, fell short. I could be looking at this through that idea that maybe we are in some kind of bigger correction and actually we'll be looking to move on down there. That target range on a bigger kind of scale, specifically going into next week, assuming that we hit those higher range expectations, would be to look for Bitcoin's price to come down more towards 67,432 to 67,662. Okay, and I'm going to put that over that side so you can kind of see what that looks like. You can see the potential here for a bit of a correction. Okay, so 69,000 again is a very interesting level. We'll talk about chart, but how would I look at this chart and how would I be looking to trade it? Well, there's a couple of options. Because we don't have complete confirmation, we can still do something to this effect. We still move down into this low range before we bounce. There's a couple of things that we could do. We could potentially go long. Okay, if we go long, let's take market value at the moment, tight stop loss lower than the previous swing low, and target out that low range. It's a 2.57 risk reward ratio. Okay, so again, it's one option to go with. The alternative is to actually wait for this to play out, and we actually go for a short position in this higher range, stop loss higher than $69,000. So we just put it just above there, and we target out that lower range coming down to the range down here of 67,600. This is a 1.96 risk reward ratio. So hypothetically, what we're talking about here is entry at 68,567, stop loss at 69,000, let's say $28, and then obviously take profit down at 67,661. That's a 1.96 risk reward ratio. So there's kind of two ways of looking at it, depending on how you want to do it. Personally, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility today. It's a weekly close, so the ability to go long here and hit this high target range is something that we can potentially see unfolding as the bulls try to rally for a a strong close. And of course, we might even see both of these playing out very quickly. Okay, so we could potentially go for the long, only to hit our target range up here, put that stop loss nice and high and target out that low range and see all of this move playing out as the bulls and the bears fight for that weekly close position. So I think for the next kind of couple of trade opportunities here for BTC, you have the long option and of course we have the short option there. Okay, I put more preference to the short than I do the long. I think there's going to be more profit to be made by shorting rather than going long. But you know, that's kind of my thoughts and opinions on that one as we see it there. From our momentum, you can see here it's kind of dancing around all over the place this weekend. Oversold on the 4 and 8 hour time frames, but overbought on the daily time frame. If we turn off the stochastic, bring in the RSI, you can still see that we're fighting with the 50 level here, lower than 50 at the moment, indicating that we are in bearish moments for BTC. Taking a look at this histogram here, you can interestingly see lower highs, so basically weakness in this move to the downside, but there's also very clearly a bit of an issue with our volume here trying to push up as well. So momentum wise, it doesn't look like there's a lot of buying activity or a lot of selling activity, but selling activity is slightly better or slightly stronger than buyers at the moment. So we want to be aware that it does to me look more likely that we are going to be looking for, unfortunately, a bit more of a bearish turn for the weekly close when it comes to BTC. But my thoughts are that we could go long, but I think the short is the way to go. We're going to target that short from around that kind of 68,550 level and then target that lower range. That would be my kind of thoughts and opinions on the smaller timeframes and how I personally would be looking to trade this one. And talking about trading, Blowfin are killing it with the promotional activity at the minute. If you're new to Blowfin, this is a chance to grab a slice of a massive 60,000 USDT pool. Yes, Blowfin is rolling out an awesome promotion where new users can earn their share of 60,000 USDT just for signing up, predicting Champion League results, and trading on their platform. Blowfin, one of the rising crypto exchanges, is giving new users the opportunity to win big. How? By signing up and participating in trading. You can get your share of 60,000 USDT. Whether you're a seasoned trader or new to the game, Blowfin is making it rewarding for everyone to jump in. Here's how you can participate. Sign up on the Blowfin using the referral link in the description. Start trading on the platform where trades will count towards the tickets and points for the prize pool. By being an active trader, you'll be eligible for more tickets, points, and your share of the 60,000 USDT rewards. This is an exclusive promotion offered by Blowfin. For all the terms and conditions, click the link in the description. This promotion, of course, is not affiliated with YouTube or Cheeky Crypto in any way, but is a fantastic promotion offered by Blowfin. So what are you waiting for? This is a limited time offer and you definitely don't want to miss out on your chance to grab some USDT. Hit that link in the description, sign up to Blowfin and start trading and get in on your chance to win big. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity with Blowfin. Sign up, trade, and claim your share of that 60,000 USDT pool. Good luck and happy trading. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll this up into our daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we're already talking about the short position with the stop loss above $70,000, and we are looking to target a little bit further to the downside. Okay, this is something that we can kind of see still as a work in progress. In here, I think there's a little short here. I'm just going to go ahead and basically remove that from the daily. There we go. So we have this short idea that we've been kind of keeping an eye on. It is still very much a work in progress, as you can kind of see here. Obviously, we're not in profit yet on this idea, but the idea is quite simple. We hit those higher ranges with the overlapping price structure. Possible that we even push for one more move to the upside if it needs be, but I don't think that's going to be the case, although weekly closes can be quite volatile. Obviously, with all the weakness that we were talking about a moment ago, I do see us coming back down to these previous areas of support and consolidation, currently kind of targeting out $63,500. So, a bit of a drop for Bitcoin. Nothing major though. If we take the current price today, we're only talking about a 7% move for BTC. It might wreck a few people who are long because there's lots of bullish people are looking for new all-time highs because there's a little bit of a run to the upside. Now, for the most part, people do look at the market here, say that there's higher highs on the daily time frame and higher lows on the daily time frame. But what they're not taking into consideration is the zoomed out view, where actually this is still lower highs across the board, okay? And so we have the initial kind of high set in March of 2024, another lower high being set up here in April, another lower high being set again, as you can kind of see with the double top from June, and then another lower low on the 30th of July, and at the moment the $69,000 move is another lower low. Okay, so at the moment there isn't a lot to be overly too bullish about here. Obviously we're tracking this final Y wave high, and well, it looks like it's progressed quite nicely for a finishing structure. This rising wedge is a bearish one. It's a kind of continuation pattern, lots of overlapping structures. We're not trending to the upside as much as I want that to be the case. What we're looking for is more clean breaks with little to no overlap, like we had seen, I should say, back in January of 2024, right? We're looking for nice clean moves, not the overlapping structures. Now, the overlapping nature of everything that we've gone on since March is still a bullish pattern. I'm not concerned about the lower highs or the lower lows on a macro scale, but it's kind of foolish to be looking at the zoomed in view on the daily, in my opinion, to think that we're having those breakouts right now. Possibly that it does turn into that, but Bitcoin can go in either direction at this point as it tests this higher, lower trend line, right? So this trend line to the downside. As it tests this out, if it gets rejected here, we're going to be in for a bit of a violent move for Bitcoin. Likewise, if it tests it, pushes through it and gets a close, we might be in for bullish times. But at the moment, Bitcoin is at a crossroad. And now if I take a look at our momentum indicator, we're heavily overbought on our daily time frame. Okay, last time that we were here was the end of September. The time before that was the end of August. And the time before that was the end of July. We all know what happened during all of those peaks. I can bring up the price chart if you really wanted to know, but we did see a bit of a drop here from the end of September. The time before that, we saw a big drop here again from the end of August. And of course, we know the July move where we hit $70,000 and dropped to $49,000. Okay, so we know that the momentum isn't necessarily supporting a bullish move at the moment. Okay, obviously you can't use stochastic RSI in isolation. You have to use it with other tools, but on our daily time frame, it's a clear picture that maybe things are not as bullish as some people want it to be seen. We are, of course, dancing around the higher area of the relative strength index as well. Okay, historically, we've been up in these ranges before, and there's we've basically turned down from here. So last time we were actually up in the overbought area was February, and all those other moves like April, for example, or May, even these areas of July and August and September, we saw, of course, this downturn in the market, and the relative strength index turned as well. Okay, so although there's a little bit of hope and a little bit of kind of optimism in the air, lots of people are feeling very greedy, and usually when the market is greedy, you should be fearful, and when the market is fearful, you want to be greedy. Okay, so at the moment, the market to me looks like it's in this kind of greedy area where people are optimistic about price rallying up into new all-time highs, and historically when we've seen that, we've seen the market go the opposite way. Okay, so open interest is going to be one that we're going to keep an eye on as well, because that's going to be an indication of things to come. Here we have our histogram. Okay, the histogram here from the MACD shows another way of looking at momentum. Okay, so we are losing momentum in both directions. Okay, so as we push up into higher highs in that zoomed in view, you can see that we're losing momentum with lower highs on the histogram here. Likewise, with the higher lows, we are also losing selling momentum. So basically, like I said earlier, Bitcoin's at a crossroads. It can go either way. We can either see a significant break to the downside or a significant break to the upside. I personally think we're going to see a break to the downside in the short term. We're going to liquidate some of those long positions, and then I think we're going to move up. So how low do I think it's going to go? I'm just looking for us to come down towards the $52,000 to start with. But really the kind of key areas of support have to be lost, right? So how Bitcoin reacts at $60,000 is going to be key. Obviously, our short position is looking at $63,500. I'm not expecting us to move in straight lines. You can see here that there's lots of kind of little areas of bouncing and kind of volatility that can be seen in these moves all around Bitcoin. Okay, so with everything that's going on, I suspect we're going to see more volatility, more bounces, more liquidity being extracted from the market. But I think gradually we're going to be heading down towards $60,000. If we can't hold 60,000, then we can talk about 50, okay, 50 to 52,000. And if they can't hold that, then we can start talking about those more bearish moves around 48,000 to 44,000 and so forth, right? I don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen at this stage because Bitcoin's holding up very well. But the data to me suggests that we should be getting ready for a big violent move for BTC. And our mission is to basically make sure that we're trading on the right side of it, right? Outside of, buying and DCAing and hodling and all that, there's trading opportunities. And those trading opportunities we need to take advantage of by making sure that we are on the right side of the market. So you wait for confirmation. You don't just jump in and kind of see how things go. I'm looking at this short idea to $63,500 as a bit of a first step. It doesn't turn us into a really bearish structure, but it does grab some liquidity out of the market. And I do think that is the first thing that we're going to see. From our weekly close positions, if I bring that up on our weekly chart here, you can see how things are, still looking interesting. Again, we are still not in higher highs on the weekly time frame or on the daily time frame. We are still, of course, in this bearish move. Okay, so as you can see, we've tested it out. And if we can't hold this, then we are going to be looking for these moves to the downside. Support levels are at quite an interesting level. So closing lower than 62,700 would be seen quite bearishly. And, for the bulls, they're going to be looking to try to rally up higher than $70,000. Okay, if they can get a higher high on the weekly time frame from it and get a weekly close above that trend line, then things could potentially be turning a little bit more bullish. But again, it would be a knee-jerk reaction. We'll have a bit of a pullback and then a rally, right? I don't see us kind of pushing up and then just continuing to run up without some kind of correction first. There will be a cascading liquidation event should that happen, because a lot of stop losses are up here. People will be forced into buying Bitcoin, actually thinking about it. So those cascading liquidations would be shorts getting liquidated up here. That would force buying pressure to push the price upwards, but I think it will be short-lived, as we will then start to see a nice healthy correction. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out, but open interest is high, but it is still kind of neutral at the moment, so it's not really swinging in either direction. The bulls and the bears are clearly looking for some strength here. The bears are going to be looking at trying to drag that price down, but at the moment we have got a pretty bullish weekly chart. I'm not concerned about it. We are still looking for higher highs and to new all-time highs in 2025. But I just think we're going to be looking for a bit of a pullback before we get there. This is a nice place for Bitcoin to be. What I'm looking for, though, is more price action like what led into this move to the upside, this kind of natured move here without the overlap. When you have the overlap, the market is very unpredictable, and it kind of just bounces between low ranges and high ranges. So what we're looking for here is a nice clean break with increased demand and a nice clear target a little bit higher. Okay, so a lot to play for Bitcoin. There's definitely some opportunities on the smaller time frames, but definitely want to be paying close attention to what happens next for Bitcoin, because it will have a knock-on effect to those altcoins. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments down below. Where do you sit when it comes to BTC? And if you have found this video helpful, make sure to smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and don't forget to check out this video right here. It's not one that you're going to want to miss.